Why the jaw ride really closed. Back in the early days, the jaw ride was infamous for constantly breaking down. It seemed like the thing was closed due to one thing or another almost every single day. Most people would assume that the closures were due to its highly technical, groundbreaking nature, but the real reason is more disturbing than you could ever imagine. Rumors of dark things happening at the ride go all the way back to before it had officially opened. The developers needed to bring in some underwater technicians to work on the various aspects of the shark in order to give it some realistic movements. Upon diving down to work on the track. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad I could pick yours. Thank you for recommending it and reading. However, for unexplained reasons, the ride's power was turned on while they were still working on it, causing them to all be electrocuted. Their bodies floated around for at least an hour before anyone realized they were actually humans and not props. This was just the first in a series of many, many horrific occurrences that happened to the ride. Ooh, that's a little scary. Yeah, I don't really like that, guys. No thanks. Oh man, this is good so far. I'm excited about this. This sounds good. Rumors of dark things happening at the ride. Oh, we just read that one. Shortly after it opened, rumors began to surface about the strange things occurring there behind the scenes of the ride. One of the first trained team leaders began making these weird claims that a foggy haze would follow his boat just above the water whenever he would do the show. The issue was checked by maintenance techs and other members of the management, but no one was able to find any gas leaks or anything else that would explain the anomaly. Then, in December of 1991, the skipper said that the fog came onto his boat and was breathed in by him and several of the guests, causing him to do an emergency evacuation of the ride. Within a month of the incidents, all individuals who had inhaled it, including the skipper, passed away tragically due to unexplained. Man. My wife just agreed to subbing to your other because you crypt my. Oh my god, tell your wife she's a real one. I'm so glad your wife is okay with you being over there. Thank you so much. Tell your wife she's always welcome. Okay. The captain's was the most disturbing, though. He was found a week later, floating in the water of the Jaws ride after coming up one night after closing. The police ruled it considering all the wounds appearing to be self-inflicted. Although he had no history of depression, everyone who knew him claimed he was very happy and a positive person. After a short closure on the ride again, they reopened it and the story was basically forgotten. Oh my gosh, that's three unexplained incidents so far. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'd go on this ride at this point. If there was like publicly, hey, all these crazy things are happening, I don't think you could pay me to get on this ride. Well, probably. Honestly, I'd say like $300 and I'd do it. It's a lot of money. Then there's the report of the guest in 1992, who after getting on the Jaws ride, randomly decided to jump out of the boat. All along, he just kept screaming that it was his time to see the light and various other religious sayings. As the boat guests viewed him struggling in the water, the shark surfaced nearby. Strangely, it seemed it wasn't on track anymore, and it was coming straight for him. Finally, after another guest grabbed him, the man began to climb back onto the boat. Then the shark shot forward and bit his leg, cutting into him deeply. The man screamed as the jaws clamped down and back, and he backed away silently. It just froze, staring in at the boat for a few seconds as if analyzing the guests with hungry eyes. And then it slowly sank beneath the water to not bother them again. Ooh. The man was taken to the ER shortly after, but ended up passing away from blood loss. This triggered management to do some more safety testings, and however, after repeatedly doing cold runs, they were not able to find any evidence of why this happened. In the end, they simply just assumed it was some sort of mass hysteria, and the guests had unluckily fallen into the shark's path. Keith Moss just commented, the bite of 97. You're goated. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, like, if we're doing like scary stories, like monster wise, lore wise, we have a creepy frog that's like toxic, that is slow acting. That's pretty scary on its own. Then the shark that basically has a mind of its own. And what was the other one? The water just, the ride turned on and got all those divers. For me, if I was in Supernatural and I was analyzing this case, I'd say possession. I'd say there's a ghost haunting the spirit of the ride, and it's like, you guys are done. I'm done here. I don't know. I think it's literally Five Nights at Freddy's but Jaws. I kind of love that. I'm so excited to see what happens. Oh my gosh. And it just keeps going. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the heart. Oh my goodness. However, this time it seemed the employees were much more aware of what was happening, and essentially everyone had started to transfer away from that ride. Guests would also begin complaining it sounded like all the employees pretty much checked out. Many of them would even make dark jokes to the guests during the show about how the shark would probably get them someday, like it did with that guest not too long ago. It was an interesting time to have ridden the ride. Oh my god, are you kidding me? You're stuck on a tiny little like boat with a bunch of strangers, and the person leading the tour is like, haha, that guy just died. Good luck. Aren't you excited? It's gonna get you next. I would be like, okay, management, this isn't cool. Like, what's going on here? Is this part of the ride? I'd much rather have a tour guide giving bad puns than like, hey, you're gonna pass. No thanks. So management decided the only way to fix the problem was to clean house and hire a whole new team, making sure ahead of time that everyone had no knowledge of the event that occurred. That's when the real chaos began to ensue. One day, a skipper named Jason started complaining about a strange whisper. Oh, I have chills. A strange whisper he would hear while giving the tour. At first, the voice would just tell him things about the ride and how to operate the boats properly, but he was really freaked out regardless. Ty said, I used to be a Jungle Cruise skipper at Disney World. Bad puns were my job. Yes, I'm sorry. If you were like, hey, you're probably going to pass away on this little cruise, I don't feel like that's okay. That's so scary. How crappy is it that they're like, well, let's just fire everyone and get people who don't know what's going on? Low-key, I feel like there are businesses that do that to this day. Ooh. Working that ride had always been a dream of his, so he wasn't willing to leave, but he knew he had to take some kind of action. So he started seeing a psychiatrist and was put on few different types of medication. They didn't seem to help, though. Actually, it was like they made him more aware of the voice. Feeling like he wasn't just crazy, though, he ended up doing some research and found various historical documents that led him to the information about the land which Universal had purchased back in the 80s. According to several different sources, there had been documented tribes of... Oh, chat, please don't cancel me. I don't know how to say this. Timukawa. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Timuka Indians that lived on the area, and there was a possibility they had sacred burial sites there as well. Jason tried to tell his other co-workers about it, but found out that no one would really take him seriously. Eventually, he informed management, hoping they could just do something, but nothing happened with that either. So he pretty much just gave up and hoped for the best. Although, after discovering the things he did, it seems like the whisper began to take on more of a sinister tone. It started telling him that all of his coworkers thought he was crazy, and everyone would be better off if he just ended it. His psychiatrist became extremely disturbed by the things Jason was saying all of the time, but nothing was done about it. And by the time it was too late. One day, Jason was doing the show. He crashed them straight into one of the explosion effects that occurred during the ride. All of the guests on that boat passed, including Jason. The only thing officials really had to go on about his motive was a note that he left in the break room with a cryptic sentence on it that just said, "The demon must be free." Ooh. Oh, I don't like that. Oh no. Oh my god. So we're going out of ghost territory into demon territory. That's like even worse, to be honest with you. I, oh man. You can't bury people in Florida. Florida lore drop by Ty. I love how active you are. You can't bury people in Florida. If you dig a foot down, you hit water. Any Native American in Florida would burn the corpse. You know what? That's true. I bet. Oh man. And Windaha said, listening to this while playing games is top tier. Oh my god. Thanks for taking the time to type that out. What game are you playing? And by the way, on TikTok, we are reading this, and I'm reading chat over on this one. It is not known how many more occurrences like this happened before the ride's eventual closure in the 2000s. However, it's safe to assume that the reason they closed was at least in part of preventing more of these from happening. After the closure, most people who knew about the Jaw Ride curse assumed it ended when the ride was demolished. A few years ago, the ride was replaced by Harry Potter's Escape from Gringotts, which is an attraction that coincidentally has also become infamous for breaking down all the time. This leads me to believe that perhaps the darkness in that area isn't gone after all. And everyone thought, but perhaps it's only just begun. That was really fun! I'm playing Slay the Spire too. Nice! That was a great creepypasta. I liked how informative it was. It really felt like I was reading like Wikipedia page on like how scary this is. That was interesting.